hours after the House censured Congressman Al Green for disrupting President Trump's speech Tuesday night, Republicans on Capitol Hill say they are not done punishing the Texas Democrat. Democrats, in the meantime, still struggling on how to push back against the Trump administration. For a third year in a row, Democrats trail Republicans in party affiliation. And just 6 weeks ago, as President Trump began his second term, a poll found that 57% of those polled had an unfavorable opinion of the Democratic Party. But since then, the administration has fired tens of thousands of government employees, slashed funding to departments and programs all across the country. And these cuts, while being challenged in courts, have led to almost daily protests far beyond Washington, D.C. So NewsNation's Joe Khalil live for us on Capitol Hill. And Joe, Representative Green's censure is still coming as Democrats seem to be divided.
Yeah, it does. And Nichole, actually, since we last spoke, there's some more news now on this front. House Freedom Caucus, the group of hardline Republicans that initially started this push to get him censured, say that's not enough. Next week, they say they now plan to push for Congressman Al Green to lose all of his committee assignments. They're pushing for the Speaker of the House to hold a vote that would ultimately strip Green of that. So we'll see how that plays out. But that would be a major step because a censure by itself doesn't actually have repercussions. It is simply a statement of condemnation for Congressman Green. Removing him from his committees, that is actually serious repercussions. So we'll see how that plays out. Meantime, this morning, our producer Kristen got inside of Congressman Green's office and got the chance to speak with him. He explained why it was that he decided to protest President Trump's address in the way he did. Take a listen.
The vehicle that I have chosen, others may not deem appropriate for them. I don't condemn them or hold any ill feelings because they choose a different vehicle. My only prayer and hope is that they will accept me and the vehicle that I have chosen, and that is peaceful protest. I think that we have reached a point now where we have to have peaceful protest, where we're going to have to be disruptive, and we have to be disruptive peacefully.
So really interesting perspective there. Meantime, you talk about Democrats being a bit divided on this. There were 10 Democrats that voted with Republicans to actually censure Congressman Green. Some of them told us today they felt like he was a distraction. One who we spoke with said, we should be talking about the Department of Education being cut or veterans losing their jobs, the VA losing people, and instead we're talking about Congressman Green. Some said he simply went too far. Other Democrats, however, say that sounds farcical to them. What they have said, several of them, is that this is something they need to do in order to issue their protests and show their own voters at home that they are trying to push back against the Trump administration. One of those members, Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, this is what she said to us earlier this morning.
It's really because Republicans they're very thin-skinned and they're very sensitive. And their feelings are very easily hurt, and so they have to vote on censure resolutions.
So going a bit on offense there for Congresswoman AOC. Nichole.
All right, so Joe, does this whole episode, all of this back and forth, this censure, possibly being removed from committees, give any clues into the state of the Democratic Party right now?
Well, we've been hearing since the beginning of this second Trump administration that Democratic voters have wanted to see more fight from their elected representatives. At the same time, again, you've got some Democrats who have said that they felt like Congressman Green was, in fact, out of line. One of those being Senator John Fetterman. He posted to Twitter basically saying that what he saw on Tuesday made Democrats look unhinged. He said it was an example of petulance, and it only makes President Trump look more presidential and restrained. Senator Fetterman, not the only Democrat to feel that way, so there is a bit of division, perhaps in terms of how Democrats move forward, whether it be their messaging, whether it be how they push back. I think you're seeing a party that is still sort of looking for a voice and a common theme for whomever their leaders of this party are at this point.
All right, Joe Khalil live for us there on Capitol Hill. Joe, thank you. Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.